Hello, welcome back to those are camp. Hello, welcome back to Aetheral Space 7.4.
Hello, welcome back.
Hello. I'm sorry, this is getting offensive.
Harry, did you cast your name in the Goblet of Fire?
Harry, why did you? Does it become like Valley Girl Dumbledore rather than anything camp?
Yeah, I made it unoffensive by pretending it was a Valley Girl accent the whole time.
We also did it when impersonating the one gay character in Harry Potter. So you're about to be offensive.
Yes. Fuck. Dude, did you see that Twitter thread the other day about like how awfully offensive and stereotypical Harry Potter minority character names are?
Was you really? You were like Cho Chang and Seamus Finnegan?
Yeah, Kingsley Shacklebolt. Oh my god. Oh, what were we even talking about? Oh yeah, Aetheral Space. Welcome back to Aetheral Space.
Welcome back.
What happened last time, Tan?
We arrived on the cradle. When we arrived on Cradle in 7.2,
yes.
we got introduced a bit more to Koshi and Del said, and so some stuff going on behind the scenes. So the character of Keiko, her sister was killed in a bombing, which she believes that Cox was behind, and she's using him as a pawn along with.
Well, here's the thing. I didn't see Keiko die in the flashback, so I'm waiting for her to come back as a cyborg
she's a narrator.
and bring Keiko to the force of good.
Wait, what?
Wait, not Keiko. You know what I mean. I didn't see Keiko's sister die in the flashback, so I'm going to assume that she's going to come back as like a cyborg or something and bring her sister to the good side.
And as we exited, we were heading to the meeting.
Yes. I have to be honest with you, I completely forgot.
And also we got introduced to Roy, who beat up a bear and then declared it used to be human.
I forgot, what was his name? Cass?
Cot?
Cot, yeah, I forgot Cot's voice, completely.
He was a little bit smug, but also calm. Like this.
He's not like Joe?
He's not like Joe. North is like Joe.
Okay.
We can't have... You confuse them already, you can't give them the same fucking voice.
I'm just gonna start making every character's voice Joe, except for Skipper. Dragon couldn't help but feel a certain tension in his bones as they made their way towards the meeting chamber. Who his group or his bones? He'd expected the building they'd find themselves in would be a dark, clandestine venue, but the brightly lit complex he was walking through, with immaculate wooden detailing and monstrously expensive furniture, reminded him of nothing less than a mansion. He got the feeling that even the floorboards under his feet were worth more than all his organs put together. Fix led the group with those must be some fucking floorboards. Fix led the group with confidence, earning himself nods of recognition from the... Actually, you know how, like... Okay, totally off topic. You know how, like, in Tokyo Ghoul, the guy becomes a ghoul because he gets, like, the ghoul liver?
Yeah.
If someone got, like, Dragon's kidney, would they get, like, quasi-cogitant powers?
No.
It's like, I'm good at math now, that's
It's in the brain.
Sorry. That's so fucking stupid. Fix led the group with confidence, earning himself nods of recognition from the numerous guards flanking each set of doors. It seemed he'd made quite the name for himself since Dragon had last seen him. Skipper cheekily strolled alongside the criminal. Whether his intention was to ingratiate or annoy was impossible to tell. Bruno and Serena had returned shortly before they'd set off from the hotel, changed back into Bruno's black and gray urban camouflage. Apparently they'd been watching this place from the outside for quite some time, and that inspection had convinced them this wasn't some sort of trap. Still, there was a strange look in Bruno's eyes as he walked alongside Dragon. Like there was something wrong, but even he didn't quite know what it was. Dragon's an empath?
We
sure we're all good? Dragon mumbled as they walked, his voice audible only to those right next to him. Bruno nodded almost imperceptibly, as they Uh-oh, shoot. Hang on.
So, guys, I'm going to kill one viewer right now. Will you be lucky or
Sorry,
unlucky?
my teacher came into the room. I have to pretend I'm present.
You fucking idiot.
Okay, he's gone, I think. I just was like, who's talking? Who joined our call? I forgot I was in a Zoom. Apparently they'd been watching this place from the outside for quite some time, and that Oh, wait, no. Bruno nodded almost imperceptibly as they passed a massive painting of a gas giant that spanned one entire wall. Well, if Bruno said everything was all right, Dragon couldn't exactly pry any further. The time for that had long passed, anyway. They were in the belly of the beast now. Just give me the word, Ruth growled, her own whispering much less subtle than that of her companions. I'll throw my skeletal set on and get us out of here. Dragon cast a doubting look back at her. With all these guards, the Elephant Clan are meant to be Aether users, and there's bound to be some among their guards, too. Trying to make a break for it would be the worst thing we could do. Besides, Bruno said, nodding in agreement, we're small fry. The elephants wouldn't go to all this trouble to set a trap for people like us. Then why are you so worried? Dragon didn't voice the words that wound anxiously through his mind. They needed to present a united front right now, after all. Vix finally spoke up again. He'd been quiet for a while. We're almost there. We'll be meeting with Jacques Oliphant Escoffier directly outside the meeting room. His personal bodyguards will have accompanied him this far. That was Vix's voice, right?
Yeah, basically. I remember because I made a spoofing joke.
Yeah. Your role is to stand by and look formidable. Please don't misunderstand and try to speak to him. Once the meeting begins, you'll be positioned on a second-story balcony above the meeting space. You'll remain there and perform your duties until the meeting ends. That is all. As a cogitant, Dragon was only barely able to retain that entire deluge of information. He couldn't imagine anyone else among them doing so. It was like barely a paragraph.
No,
bro.
he doesn't like...
As usual.
Fix, so he's like, fuck you, Fix.
Fuck you, Fix it.
Ineffective
only
communication.
I, cogitant. As usual. It's like when you hate someone and you try to pick apart every little thing they do, because you're just like so petty about it. As usual, that bastard Fix was perfectly businesslike, and he expected everyone around him to act like robots under his command. No problemo, Skipper grinned, metal hand on his hip. I'll keep my mouth shut. I'm notoriously shy around strangers, you know. I see, Fix replied in a tone that betrayed his utter lack of interest. The room they finally found themselves in was some kind of foyer, with closed double doors on one wall leading off to the meeting room proper. Gold-framed paintings lined the walls, their content ranging from portraits to alien and bizarre landscapes. At the far end of the room, a blonde-haired man in a white suit, flanked by two things, adjusted his tie in the mirror. Fix, he called out in a clear voice as they approached. I see you've brought the associate you mentioned. Well done. Thank you, sir. Fix nodded respectfully. From the tone of things, this was Jacques Oliphant Escoffier, then. Dragon got a better look at him as he turned away from the mirror, a thin and clean-shaven man, with cheekbones that could slice through steel and hair slicked back as far as it would go. His blue eyes, normal blue, not cogitant, regarded them with only slight interest. All in all, he was fairly ordinary looking. What drew Dragon's interest more were the two things flanking him. The two humanoids stood on either side of their employer, their arms hanging limp, their skin pale and their eyes glassy. It took only the slightest glance to come to an obvious conclusion. They were corpses. Oh, jeez, is he the guy from the other arc?
What
The corpse? The person who, did the corpse magic, corpse Aether.
That was a bit different.
Okay. Jacques Oliphant Escoffier. Do I have to fucking read this name every time?
You just did.
Escoffier's personal bodyguards were the Walking Dead. Sky blue aether trickled slowly across their forms. From the way you were speaking, Jacques frowned slightly, I expected you'd be bringing one person, not four. You've outdone yourself in that regard, Asmodeus, but I have to say, they don't appear so formidable. 4 clouds of aether flared. The skeletal set appeared around Ruth's body. Force fields hovered over Bruno's palms. Skipper's wild grin was illuminated green. He just fucking Joker painted his mouth. That was how he showed off?
Well, no, because he was glowing with his little ether.
And Dragon's eyes shone in electric blue. The frown on Jacques' face lessened, just slightly. Avengers assemble!
They're all in a circle, even though there's only one person, one direction they're looking at.
Yeah, it's like playing the music, like... doo, 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 doo.
Come on, guys, we're gonna get Loki's scepter.
That's certainly something, he said quietly. Before they got here, Fix had advised them to keep their mouths shut and just look tough. Dragon had intended to do just that. He had no desire to socialize with these people, no drive to involve himself more in the situation than the absolute bare minimum possible. However, let me finish that sentence for you, buddy! Skipper laughed, pushing his way past Fix and excitedly shaking Jacques' hand between 2 of his own. I've never seen such a gang of champs in all my life! That's short for champion, by the way. You cannot. That's Bradley's bit. You can't put it on Skipper. That only further confirms they're the. That only confirms they're the same character.
Skipper would not do mean stuff to his brother.
Yes, he would.
He wouldn't.
Name's Skipper. How you doing? The corpses flanking Jacques twitched, but made no move to intercept Skipper. Now that Dragon got a proper look at them, he could see they were no ordinary bodies. Even with slight decomposition gnawing away at them, it was still clear to see that their lean forms had been trained to their utmost. Before they died, these two had definitely been some kind of martial artists. Elephant money could pay for better quality corpses, he guessed. Fix bit his lip as he glared intensely at Skipper, bringing joy to Dragon's heart, but Jacques simply chuckled in bemusement as the stranger shook his hand. I see. Skipper, was it? You seem an interesting fellow. Do your job well, and I'll see you properly compensated. Skipper finally released the dangerous criminal mastermind from his grip, stepping back as though he'd done nothing at all. Good to hear, good to hear! Looking forward to working with you, yeah? Quite. Jacques' interest died almost immediately as he turned back to Fix, his expression suddenly stern. I'll be sitting between Roy and Carla. You directly behind me, Asmodeus. You don't have to worry about any guards from my elder sister, so just make sure your most intimidating resources are positioned to the left, so Roy's bodyguards don't attempt to get any glory by messing with us. Understand? With people he actually knew, this man seemed to be much more strict and imposing, a persona that he consciously put on then, and one that was hardly foolproof. There was a light knock from the other side of the double doors, and Jacques immediately took in a deep breath. Seems like we're out of time for dress rehearsal, he sighed. Shall we proceed? As he spoke, pale blue aether sprang out from his head, wrapping around itself in the air and forming a spherical structure. Lights of many colors flashed from within its surface, and as they reached the eyes of the corpses, they cracked out of their rigor mortis and began to step forward.
I don't know why I'm just capitalized there.
Wait. So he's like making a sphere from his head around himself, and when that sphere touches the corpses, they move.
No, so there's a sphere up in the air above himself that flashes with lights, and when the lights flash, it somehow communicates something to the zombies in like instructions.
Speaking in binary to your zombies.
Exactly.
Alright. Popcorn.
The Thing stared mercilessly at Ruth. The Thing, with scraggly blue fur and beady fake eyes, stared mercilessly at Ruth. The Thing, with a limply hanging maw and stitches on its false tongue, stared mercilessly at Ruth.
Wait a minute. Yeah? What if he did stand mercilessly 3 times?
I
Is that
love
intentional?
you! Yeah.
Okay.
You don't have to point it out, I'm aware. I loves you! It squeaked, jerking up and down with its words like it was being electrocuted. Even though the Thing, Ale, was staring at her mercilessly, Ruth did not return the favour. Instead, she was staring in bemusement at the old man, wizened and toothless, who was holding Ale up. The thing that was staring so mercilessly at Ruth, after all, was nothing more than a sock puppet. The old man grinned vacantly, his mouth not moving in the least, as Ale continued to dance and speak. Do you know Ale's favourite game? You've got to guess, Kay. It begins with the letter A, Kay. Reluctantly,
This guy will definitely be everyone's favourite character in the animation.
Reluctantly, Ruth's gaze... I have to admit, the only reason I've made this character is that I was laughing at the Elmo versus Rocco memes on Twitter. And I wanted to put Elmo in my story. Reluctantly, Ruth's gaze drifted over to the puppet and she addressed it directly. I don't know. It's the alphabet, silly! Ale spasmed, head flopping back and forth. How many letters do you know in the alphabet? I'll know all of them. I'll bet you don't. Ruth clicked her tongue. Of course I know all of them. Don't underestimate me.
Wait, is this one of the corpses by Jacques?
No, it's a sock puppet.
Oh.
Ale's voice was reaching pitches previously thought unimaginable by scientists. Ruth stepped forward, ready to turn that stupid puppet away and hurl it into the wall, only to be stopped by Skipper's hand on her shoulder, pulling her back. Best not to cause a scene, yeah? He said quietly. Probably what they want, anyway. As the Oliphant guide instructed, they positioned themselves on the balcony above their temporary employer, ready to jump down and guard him if need be, but mostly there to look tough. Most of the other attendees had the same idea, it seemed. The balconies were crammed with bodyguards, the biggest collection of freaks you could find outside the circus. There was the guy with the puppet, sure, but he was just the tip of the iceberg. 2 tall and thin figures, wrapped entirely in sodden bandages, held sniper rifles in their hand as they hissed and whispered to each other. A scurrant man with a serpentine lower body watched the room warily, his own hands rubbing idly at some kind of musical instrument. A heavenly-looking girl with white feathered rings hovered in the corner of the chamber. Ruth honestly wondered where the Oliphants had found all these people. Surely it couldn't be easy.
It's just a bunch of original characters and then Mercy from Overwatch.
Well, no, because it's like biologically feathered wings rather than a suit.
Ah, I see.
The guy below, Jock Oliphant-Escoffier, seemed more than satisfied with his 2 personal bodyguards, the zombies that trailed behind him. Just from telling, Ruth could tell they were strong. Obviously not Aether users, but bodies that were used to fighting. Even with her Aether, Ruth was sure she wouldn't have an easy go of it if she tried to fight them. Weird atmosphere, Bruno muttered, leaning over the railing as he kept watch below. He was right. Casual conversation drifted up from the long table in the centre of the room. The kind of talk you'd expect from a normal family dinner, not a meeting between some of the most powerful criminal leaders in the entire supremacy. It was as if the crowd of guards above didn't even exist. I heard you've been having some trouble with bandits moving in on your territory, Roy, Drax said casually, taking a sip of red wine. If you need any help, you need only ask. He was speaking to the person seated next to him, an older man with wild brown hair and bulging muscles, barely constrained by the suit and tie he wore. The giant waved a dismissing hand. Nah, he said, his voice rumbling even through his casual demeanour. It's just has-beens looking to get their past glory back. Lame. There's nothing more manly than accepting change, but these guys just aren't capable of it. All the same, called a dark-skinned woman from across the table. She was shaved bald and clad in a long white robe, with rings glittering on her fingers. A show of course can help in these situations. It doesn't do to appear weak. Roy frowned, and the tension in the room intensified just a tad. You saying I look weak, Valentina? You know I can't just let that go. The young man...
I actually said I can just let that go, so it's fine. It's
no,
fine.
I just used my Aether ability to correct it. Your memories are now incorrect. The young man sat next to Valentina, probably only a year or 2 younger than Ruth herself, spoke up hurriedly. And my mother didn't mean anything by it, Uncle Roy. She just meant, we can't afford for all of us to look weak. You look pretty strong. Roy nodded, all animosity instantly forgotten, and leaned back in his chair so he had to use it again. You get what's going on,
Guy,
Rico.
he can rewrite the narrative.
Good kid, good kid. Did my boy show you what I got him for his birthday? When's your birthday anyway? Is it coming up?
Oh, Rico's from the diner, right?
Yeah, he was the first one we met. Maybe Rico shifted nervously in his seat. Maybe we can talk about that later. Regardless, Jock said, finishing off his drink, where's father? It's something of a farce to have a family meeting without the head of the family. For the first time, the woman at the far end of the table spoke. She wore a frayed sweater and stared at the others with dull eyes. His suit needed repairs, she sighed. He said he'll be delayed. Roy nodded sagely. There's nothing manlier than self-care. All the same, Jack insisted, sitting up in his seat as he took another sip of wine. I had to question how much we can really get to...
Tanhony, plot hole, you said he finished off his drink, and yet now he's taking another sip of wine?
Got it poured again.
Hello?
I'm trying to think of how to get around this.
I've destroyed all the tension you were building up.
Partaking in his drink once again. It said something else. Are you
Hell,
insane?
yes. Thank God. You know the SCP community would have been on it. They would have been like, this is a really good chapter, Tanhony, but I couldn't help but notice this. It really threw off my immersion, and I'm just going to have to no-vote it. I'm sorry.
Sitting up his seat as he took another sip of wine. I have to question how much we can really get done with... He stopped talking. A strange silence settled over the room, even among the guards up top. What happened next stretched seconds into minutes. For a moment, the other siblings around the table just waited for him to continue speaking. When all that came from his mouth was a raspy choking sound, they rose to their feet with a chorus of screeching cheers. The change in Jock was horrifyingly fast. He stayed perfectly still, save for the intense shuddering of his body, his eyes nearly bulging out of their sockets. His skin was as pale as paper, and as Reach watched in horror from above, she could see it cracking in places, drying out to an unimaginable degree. Oh, fuck, whispered Dragon next to her, his own eyes wide as saucers as he observed the scene below. Oh, fuck. Bro? Why did they say it like that? Bro? muttered Roy, reaching out and touching his brother's creaking arm. Immediately behind Jock, Vic stepped forward at the same time. A spasm of Jock's arm was immediate, a jerking of the limb that sent his glass of wine down to the floor, shattering into countless pieces. What little liquid was left settled on the carpet, smoke rising steadily from it. Jock collapsed to the floor a second later, and the screaming started a second after that.
Damn, she sucked him dry.
Jesus. A man just died, Darnell.
A man died and you're laughing. All right, that was a good chapter. I'm curious to see what happens next. I'm thankful they didn't notice Cot yet, because I feel like that'll be better to save for a little. Oh God, sorry. Hang on. Let me rush through my end of the episode shit. My stomach is like, ooh. Okay.
You got poisoned as well.
Sorry. Yeah, dude, I've had the
Bro?
worst. Like, I won't go into gross details, but like my stomach has been having problems like the last 4 days. I can't take it.
What colour is your skin right now? Is it the colour of paper?
Death color. It is the color of paper.
Bro?
Well, my skin's always the color of paper, kind of, so I don't know if that's really... But yes, my question for this week, I know we haven't had one in like a couple months, is, you guys know how there's legends like the Holy Grail or Lemuria and stuff? Give me some Aetheral space legends.
I do have to say,
that would be told.
I like, ever since I used Lemuria in like one of the JoJo covers, like in your mind, that's like one of the most well-known ones.
It's because it's like I don't know that many legends.
Yeah, Lemuria, that classic kids'
You
tale.
know Lemuria. But yeah, Atlantis. You know, like give us some ideas. All right, any closing remarks from you, Tan?
Nothing I can think of. I apologise if this chapter's been a bit shorter. During Arc 6, I was off work for almost that entire thing, so we're going to settle back into a 6 to 8 sort of format here, just because that is what I have time to do in the week to sort of keep a consistent schedule.
But understandable. If you would like to relive the glory days before Aetheral Space was bad, you can purchase Sparks of Blue on Amazon.
Okay. I'm going to now. Now your skin is cracking in places.
No! My paper skin! This is the part of the movie after Jacques falls over and everyone's screaming where one of the family members like nudges someone and goes, should have used lotion.
Jesus, Roy.
Roy, a man has died.
There's nothing manlier than dying.
There's nothing manlier than self-care. That's what he would say, and that's what lotion is. See, it all adds up. It would have brought the bit around. All right. Thank you, guys. Bye.
Bye.